Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Nate Morse, founder and LinkedIn strategy consultant at Apex Conversion, where he helps revolutionary business leaders use LinkedIn to enjoy greater success with clients for over 7 years. Welcome to the show, Nate.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to India in this online form. A lot of people would certainly learn from you, from a master like you. And not just in India, but a lot of people across the world will certainly, everyone almost knows about LinkedIn, and that is where the place is to go for a lot of professionals. My first question to you about LinkedIn, Nate, is a lot of people now use it almost like a social media. So is LinkedIn a professional tool today or a social media tool today? How should a individual who is, say, mainly a consultant, a freelancer, a coach, or a small business look at LinkedIn as it is today?
That's a great question. So originally, it was more used for recruiting and finding people to work for jobs. So in that regard, when you'd say professional, I'm assuming that's kind of what you mean. But more people are connecting and kind of building relationships that don't necessarily have to do with, just the online resume that LinkedIn was viewed as before. And you can even see now they have like creator mode and newsletters and different things that they're putting on. You see there's like bigger celebrities and names coming in the space promoting using LinkedIn for content. So I think that we're seeing, especially over the last year or so, that it's becoming more and more of a platform that they not only is a place for you to find people to collaborate and work with, but also a place to spend time and learn and connect and actually build relationships. And so when it comes to how should they use it, I think that that's how they should use it, not just have it as an updated resume, especially if you're a coach or consultant running your own business, then you might not be looking to get a job and get hired from someone. And so in that case, it's actually a really good place to go and find other clients. And since they're focusing more on content and things that are bringing people into the platform more, that gives a larger opportunity for you to be able to connect with people. And since that kind of hiring process was used before, they focused really on having good targeting so that you could find the right people to be able to connect with. And I don't see other social media networks having that balance of finding who's a really good fit for you, and then also having a way where you can build a relationship with them, kind of in like a bigger scale. So I think that the opportunity for them is actually in between because they're both evolving together.
Right, Nate. You see, whoever it is, coach, consultant, other businesses, they all look at, create more sales for themselves, lead generation, in one way or the other. Even bigger businesses, their executives also, they always try to network for the sake of getting more business for themselves. The question is how to do that. One is that for bigger businesses or people who are a bit known, people obviously want to connect with you. But when you are seeking business for yourself, and when you are a coach, a consultant, a very small business, or even a small agency, freelancer, people run away from you almost like they run away from an insurance agent at a party. So there is a bit of a difficulty there. How can one use LinkedIn in whatever capacity you are there to get to talking points, to get to people interested in your profile, interested in you, lead to lead generations, and finally to sales? How does one, is there a step by step for someone who has just started into freelancing with whatever years of experience that they have?
Yeah, totally. And I mean, I could spend hours and hours on this, and we have trainings that go over this more in depth. But and this can apply to other social media, platforms as well. But I think a lot of it, if so, really, everybody has to have their profile, something that is compelling to the person that's viewing it, right? So you have people that are going to find you through Google, because LinkedIn likes to put you on Google. So as long as you have all your skills and everything there, they can find you. And if you have something that makes them curious about you on your profile, and a CTA for them to engage in some type of way, then that can start the relationship. If you don't have that, then that's not going to happen. And that's just one side of it. And I think where a lot of people kind of overlook the opportunity in it is that it's like, in the buyer's journey of your client. Okay, they're gonna, from the point that they even think that they have that problem, even if they're unaware of it, and just start to think they have it till they buy from you. A lot of people are just sitting there at the end where it's like, hey, if you need help solving the problem, then reach out to us. And that person, if they're not there, if they haven't answered a lot of internal questions to get to that stage, they're not going to be able to make that jump to the end of the buyer's journey. So having your profile have things that are relevant to different stages, almost like the questions that they have to ask themselves in order to buy. So it might be like, is this the best one for me? Is the best one for right now? Am I getting a good deal? Just depending on what you're offering, that would be making sure that you can capitalize on people that are coming through, and then taking that same viewpoint in your content is that if you have the right, assuming that you have the right audience, if you don't have the right people following you, then you should go do some outreach and actually get them on there. Because if the right people, uh, aren't seeing, or if the right people aren't seeing your content, there's no way for them to really engage with you unless you kind of start it first, or someone shares it. And so, a lot of it is really just like building up that audience. And instead of I think a lot of people,
Nate,
people.
sorry to interrupt that audio issue. I think it has come back again. Maybe you can try
Okay.
that different mode.
Yeah, this is very interesting thing. Yeah, give me 5 seconds. 5 seconds.
Okay, how are we now?
Right.
Good now?
This is great. This
So
is great. Yeah.
so interesting. Yeah, must be anyways. Yeah, so and then in the in the outreach side on that regard, so when you're going for people, and a big advantage of LinkedIn is that since there's so good targeting, you can actually go for who your ideal client is. And in the beginning of this, you're mentioning how we're working with revolutionary industry leaders, people that are actually trying to make an impact on the market. Those people, they should actually be going for the clients that they have the most leverage with and can make the biggest impact, because their clients basically decide what their business becomes, if that makes sense. Right. So that's another, when they're going on that outreach side of building the audience and the connections and networks and who they're talking to, that is something that I would definitely keep in mind and always be going for. But in the outreach side, the approach that I think a lot of people are taking, they just don't realize it, is that they're basically doing that end of buyer's journey part that we were just talking about. And it's like they're walking up to someone and they're saying, hey, the first thing they say is like, hey, here's all the reasons that we should get married. And then if that person isn't like, yeah, let's get married, then they're just like, okay, so are you still there? Are you still, like, they'll just nudge them, right? And that just doesn't really get that good of a response. And that business, you might have something that's super valuable, but you have to build that relationship first, And so making sure that you're looking at the different stages of the buyer's journey. Maybe you're looking at them and asking them questions that reveal to you where they are in the buyer's journey, and building that relationship first. And then that will turn into a point where they have rapport with you and you can get much closer to the sale and actually begin that sales process. But the relationship has to come first. You can't just go straight in for the sale like that. You can shorten it. You can shorten it with different things. But yeah, that would be my answer for that. In terms of like actionability, though, I would definitely just start with the profile. Make sure your profile is good. Make sure that it's not just a sales page, and that you are consistently adding people who you want as clients so they can see your content and you're messaging them, and focusing on relationships and giving first. And that relationship, will then turn into that later, because that's what you work on. So a lot of the topics will naturally make them curious about what you can do in that area.
Right, Nate. Right. You help coaches, consultant agencies get high quality clients consistently on LinkedIn. Now, who are these high quality clients? Is it big ticket clients you talk about? And how do I know that, how do I reach to them? Because they don't want to reach to me. Otherwise, they could have found me. And how do I get them interested in me? Because they may not need my services at this point in time. They may not find anything valuable in my profile at this point in time. So, how do I build a relationship? What is it that I can get them interested in? Because I am interested in those clients. Maybe not today, maybe after 2 months or even after a year.
So like bigger clients, I'm doing a training here soon on how to get whale clients from LinkedIn, but that's more of like an enterprise level. So I don't know if you're talking about that. But it would work for bigger clients. So in terms of working with bigger clients, the shift in there is that most likely you're talking to someone who, and when I say high quality, I'm talking a lot about like high ticket. Like if someone's buying stocks, my stuff is probably going to be overkill because the buyer's journey, which you recognize I'm talking about a lot, is much smaller, right? So ones that have a longer education cycle, right? Those are the ones that we're going to be helping with. And when you're talking to bigger businesses, you're most likely not going to be talking to the owner. Okay, so you're talking to someone that is not, they're more focused on protecting their job than anything else. And so the conversation, no, I'm serious, like their conversation is going to be much different. So again, when you approach them, your goal is actually to build a relationship with them and ask questions to kind of see where they're at right now. And if it's something that they're interested in at all, like more of do they have that problem before you just pitch them and tell them you have a solution. That's kind of like unwarranted. But you're building relationships with those people because when you know that they're interested, or maybe they say like, yeah, let's look at it next quarter, you're trying to get those moments and really focus on like pipeline placement, like where are they in your pipeline? When are you going to actually reach out to them? Yeah, you have to build that relationship first. But yeah, you're focusing on the people that are really more focused on protecting their job. But within those groups of people, there are going to be those who do want to advance, and so they will take that risk. And so when you're reaching out to them, you want to make them feel like that you did research and that it was very genuine and that you're bringing some value to the table, so that even if they were to hop on a call or you offer them some sort of resource that you made or something, that in and of itself is valuable. Because then if you do that, right, you're giving for free and you kind of restarted this relationship.
Right.
You have to do it a lot. A lot of people will be like, oh, I reached out to 10 people and I didn't get anything. So, something must be wrong. A lot of times they just aren't doing enough volume to even get the data to see what's working and what's not.
Right. In day-to-day way, we see that LinkedIn is coming with so many, extra tools, if we can say, and facilities. For salespeople, you have got the sales navigator. For creators, you have got that creator sort of a profile. And then there is the newsletter. How do a consultant utilize all these things, or they should just ignore it? Should they use it? Should they not use it? There is a dilemma because it needs a lot of time. So how and there are new tools. There is always talk of something else or the other coming into. How do I maintain my focus as well as I am utilizing the tools that are possible? Also, are there any tools that within the LinkedIn thing that I'm not aware of, and I should be knowing of, that you can tell? Help us with that.
That's a lot of questions all in one. I'll try to disseminate these. So Sales Navigator is okay. It has some extra functionalities, but I find that the results it gives you are like it gives me what I wanted and a bunch of what I didn't want. And so that makes, so there's a lot of cleaning, and that's where a lot of people will kind of like get poor results, as they'll go on they'll go on whatever Sales Navigator gives them, and then they'll just start burning through them and then get a bunch of only 1 out of 20 people are what they were looking for or something like that. So it's, they're not going to get very many, they're not going to get good results or even an impression of good results on that side. But it's good for like saved searches, things like that. I do like it for that, but I don't really use it all that much, to be honest. In terms of the creator side, yeah, that's a cool option because you can have like a different looking profile, or you can have posts show up on there. Before LinkedIn only showed your content like a couple layers in, so no one would see it. So it gives you this advantage of if you don't want to do content, you don't really need to, because your profile doesn't really show it if you don't want it to. But if you are doing content, then you can put that in the front. And especially when I was talking about earlier, going and paying attention to different stages of the buyer's journey, there's different resources that you could create, whether they're, let's say, like a post, right? Could have a specific question. If you were to even just survey all your past clients or current clients and go, hey, what are the questions that you had to answer before you were able to sign up with me? And then start working with those questions and creating content around those. So when people visit, it might be something that's really relevant to them. There's probably the article. I think people don't really fully take advantage of the articles in terms of something that's underused, because it's really easy to get people to be subscribers on that. You can ask your whole list, and when you do post, the whole list of subscribers gets an update that you posted, right? Whereas the feed, is all dependent on the algorithm, So you can post, the way I like to think about it is posting bigger pieces of content. So let's say that you have a topic. A lot of people, when they create content, they're constantly trying to think of all the new ideas. Okay. But you can take an article that's deep, gives like a much deeper level of thinking, and then have other pieces of content like posts, videos, long story short. They have like carousels, things like that, and have those all link back to the article, and that'll drive an experience of a bite-sized piece that they like. And if they want more, then they can have a deeper level of understanding how you think by you having them actually go to an article and become a subscriber. Does that make sense?
Yes, indeed. In terms of, you talked about Sales Navigator. A lot of people also talk about Meet Alfred, if you are aware of that. There are extra tools from outside. So
Yeah.
many a times, LinkedIn says you can't use any extra tools, automation, and anything within the LinkedIn network, but a lot of people use those extra tools from outside, and they may get tempted that, okay, you will get better leads through those extra tools. What is your suggestion on that? And secondly, at the same time, there is this option of page, creating a company page, and then there is another showcase page, which I don't know much about, but a lot of times that thing also pops up. What can those things be utilized for business and lead generation, or should we, through those consultants and coaches, should they just leave it for the future?
Totally. So those are good questions. The showcase page and company page, I don't personally use that much, but that's because our approach is really personal. So using the personal profile and creating a personal connection. Now, in terms of like Meet Alfred, I think that one may be if it's a Chrome extension, I'm very weary of them because LinkedIn like looks at it. So ones that use like headless browsers or in the cloud are technically like a lot better. But I think that there's an issue with this kind of in the LinkedIn world, and which is basically why I started mine, because nobody else was doing it this way. They were just saying that the volume and the volume through automation is the strategy, and I don't think that that's actually good. I think that if you choose to use it, which like you have to be good at managing and maintaining certain boundaries and whatnot. If you do choose to use a tool like that, think of that as that should be only there to manage the queue. Okay. The people should still be individually researched. They still should be like, you shouldn't be spamming anyone. You're just using it because you're sending something that you would normally send at a time that you would normally send. And I think that people should be able to still use tools because it's just an extension of their self. And even in the terms, it says that somebody else can't run it for you, so you can't have like a team member technically do it. But it's like legally, there's kind of an extension of you thing, so it kind of gets weird on that regard. But yeah, anyone that's excited about the tools, if you're doing it wrong, it'll be a fast track towards like burning the fields and bridges and not doing well. You're just gonna spam a bunch of terrible, not terrible, but like you're just gonna get bad results, and then you can't. LinkedIn doesn't let you connect with them again. So if you're going after your ideal clients, like I was saying earlier, which is what is the best thing that your business could have, and then you're doing the worst thing possible to them, you're just burning the field. So big caution on that. Make sure you have the strategy right. That should be just for the queue if you choose to go that route, just to manage the stuff you're gonna be doing. Yeah.
Right, Nate. You have answered all those my questions in a very nice manner. One thing is there that LinkedIn now, a lot of examples are there that all these platforms are, after all, just a platform, and anything can happen at any point in time. So you should never keep all your eggs in the same basket. But in terms of LinkedIn, you don't have an alternative, or is there any alternative that people should also keep on using, so that there is always a option with you, and so that for any reason, maybe LinkedIn throws you out, or for whatever reason, if there is a slowdown or whatever happens, or LinkedIn gets bought or anything happens,
Sure.
but you have an option. What do you suggest in terms of an option for LinkedIn?
Yeah. So I think that any social media platform shouldn't be dependent on like that as needing to be the main thing. I think that you should actually be building an email list, because then you can own that, and then regardless of the platform, right, then we won't have this issue again. But yeah, you should be using the platforms. I think that it just depends on what your audience is doing. LinkedIn is one that's already talking about the business context, whereas Facebook, we would happen to be talking about friends and stuff, and then bring up business, because that's what the Facebook room is. But LinkedIn is a giant networking room of people talking about business as the main topic. So I do like it a lot. But I would yeah, I would still say go on the other ones, especially I think Twitter. I feel like Twitter is the closest one in terms of the similar like kind of vibe, I would say. But it just depends on where your market is. I use Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, and I haven't really cracked Instagram yet. But
Right. Those are great suggestions, but there is so much to learn, and all the learning cannot be possible in this one episode. For a lot of other learning, people will have to come to you, and for those people who want to professionally be engaged with you, how can they do that? What is the best way to connect with you?
yeah, so I have some free resources for you guys. If you go to natemorse.com/gift, there's some stuff there for you. And then you can also reach out if you want on the website, but that'll get you right to the fun stuff. So.
And obviously, you are on LinkedIn.
Yeah, definitely. Yep, you can look me up too. We can chat on there. Totally.
Wonderful.
I post articles every couple of weeks or so, just depending on what I got going on.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thanks for having me.